Slinging Dirt with Staley, an in-depth conversation with the drivers themselves about the inner workings of a dirt track racer's world. Dive deep under the helmet and inside the mind of the people who ride the high side, lift that left front wheel, and teeter on the edge of being out of control. New Slinging Dirt with Staley starts now. Welcome to the first ever episode of Slinging Dirt with Staley. Thank you for tuning in. I am your host, Alan Staley, and let's just dive right into things, shall we? My first guest ever, as we recorded it live in a community building kitchen, is Randy Smith Jr. A brief background about Randy's racing stats. In 2017 alone, he piloted his Bowler Motorsports Jet Racing Lake Road Warehouse Firehouse Design number 75X E-Modified to a handful of wins. He was quite consistent as he picked up 2 track championships, one at I-35 Speedway and one at US 36 Raceway, as well as picking up a Northwest Missouri Points Championship. So yeah, there's really not a whole lot that Randy hasn't done in a race car, but there's more than that. There's more than the accomplishments on the track that makes Randy such a dandy. Hear all about his future plans and what makes him such a fan favorite, a racer's racer, and an all-around great sportsman in the sport we love, dirt track racing. Again, thanks for tuning in. I am Alan Staley. Let's just jump right into the interview with Mr. Randy Smith Jr. First and foremost, what are you doing, Randy? What's the plan for next year?
IMCA Sport Mod.
IMCA Sport Mod. So you're moving up the ranks. You've already crowned yourself champion at 2 different tracks and a regional championship. So first question right out of the gate, how did you get into racing?
It was actually a bet with Stephen Glenn.
Stephen Glenn? All right, well, this is going to bring me to my next question because it's going to show a little bit of age with us both here because, let's face it, Randy, we are getting old. I can remember days back of you turning laps at I-35 Speedway in an A-Mod. How did that come about?
A little slow.
A little slowly?
But, no, man, I helped Stephen out. And one day I just kind of was mouthing him like I normally do and told him I bet I could beat him in his backup car. And
so did you?
No,
you didn't meet him in his backup card?
I have beat him.
What's the biggest thing you took away from it for like a learning experience or knowledge? Is there anything from that experience of you driving an A-Mod? Because let's face it, A-Mod a lot different than an E-Modified, which is what you drove last year. What was one of the things that you took away from it where you're just like, all right, I learned something there?
Yeah, probably not mouse so much because it is harder than it looks from the stands.
It is very hard. Driving the number 75X, where's the number come from? Is there any significance?
Bud Wilson come to me at the beginning of the year. As everybody knows, he started out with John.
Big name in the area, Bud Wilson.
He had to. He was running the 20X for John. Mm-hmm. John won him in the house car, which I don't blame him. And Bud said he was retiring after this year. Well, we all know that ain't true, but he come to me and asked me if I'd run 75X for him one last time, and that's what we did.
I'd say it's a pretty good end result. You had about a handful of wins on the season. Like I said before, 2 track championships, a Northwest Missouri Point Championship as well. Is there anything in the E-Mod that you wanted to accomplish that you just didn't get around to?
The race for Ryan.
The race for Ryan. You wanted to win the race for Ryan.
Oh, yeah. Coming out of forward, broke ball joint.
Yeah,
that was the end of that.
That's a very big race, so it's understandable that you'd want to win that. On that little antage of unfortunate coming out of turn 4, has there ever been a moment where you're just like, nah, I don't want to do this anymore? That whether it be a bad tumble down a back straightaway or somebody else doesn't lift, is there any time in a race car where you're just overwhelmed with not fear, but just like, well, this could turn out bad because the sport you're in, quite dangerous?
Nah.
Don't think about it?
No. I mean, if you do, you're going to be slow, and you can't really... It's off the top of the head. I mean, it's quick pace. You got to think a lot.
Fly by the seat of your pants kind of thing, where if you take the time to think about it, you're already behind, basically.
Yep. And you're going to end up in that crash. So
that makes a lot of sense. on a kind of a similar note there, is there a moment of clarity when you're out there on the track where it seems that you're just in your element? Things are coming at you and you're reacting, you're not thinking about it. Is that the basics of every race where you don't think about it, you just react?
Yeah. Once you get out front and you can't hear nobody.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't understand you can't hear the cars behind you.
Right.
And once you don't hear nobody, you can. Sometimes you get a little too comfortable and you let some 46 car come up beside you, but that's all fun.
I happen to know who you're talking about on that 46 car. He has been known to be there when the time's right. Okay. In that, kind of talking about the 46 car, the JJ Barmley, there's a lot of people that I've talked to within the past week, past couple months, even the past couple of years that have nothing but good things to say about you. My question for you is competitiveness or camaraderie? How do you view the other drivers out there on the track? Are they your enemy while they're on the track, friend in the pits, or is it just we're friends all the time?
No, friends all the time.
Friends all the time?
If you don't, I'm one of those guys, you watch me race. If you race me clean, I race you clean. That's how it should be.
I agree with that. It's the best way it should be. Kind of keeping along the lines of that, we have drivers like Chet Yates, Jason Nelson. We've talked about this in the past. Kalen Peterman, and you can throw in JJ Baumley, Cade Richards, other drivers in the EMOA class this year. If you talk to every one of them, almost every one of them will say you are that guy in the pits. You're the guy that will be there to help them jack up a car. You're the guy that will help them change a tire. You're the guy that will even drive an hour out of your way just to scale somebody's car. Where does that come from?
I don't know. It just, I guess, being raised right. That's somebody needs help. Just like the guy that helps me, he kind of got slung into helping me.
Well, let's just not just mention him. Let's bring him on in. Come on in. Grab a microphone. How is it working with the dandy Randy Smith on a weekly basis? Is it a lot of button heads? Because that doesn't seem to be the feel that I'm getting. It's more of a blast. You having fun the whole time?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So humility and humor seems to be a big part of your guys' race team. You're basically just one of the guys hanging out. You're trying to have a good time, trying to add a few laughs to it and everything. From the introduction of Lacey at the Powder Puff race to always thanking the fans in Victory Lane, because as somebody who's interviewed you before in Victory Lane, it's something that I think gets glossed over way too much, is these fans that sit in the stands week in and week out. They just kind of, not a whole lot of drivers think them, but you, week in, week out, whenever you're in Victory Lane, you always make sure to thank your sponsors, the fans, your crew chief, things like that. Is there ever a moment in the sport of racing where you just don't want to do it anymore? Are you ever in a bad mood at a racetrack, basically, is what I'm getting at?
No.
No?
You can ask Brett. My car has been pretty messed up this year and not right.
Yeah, it has been.
It is aggravating, but when you got somebody like Brett, you can go in and tell him, hey, it's pushing in the middle.
He's the one turning the wrenches, kind of the man behind the scenes. Without a Brett, there is no Randy, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
So a question kind of for both of you, because I imagine I'm going to be getting two different responses here. During the race season, how much time do you spend in the shop during any average week? Randy, you could answer first. Is there a lot of hours spent turning wrenches?
There is a lot of hours, but there is a lot of goof off time. We don't.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
We'd be working on the car and say, hey, let's go catch for catfish. We'll go catch for catfish and go back to working on the car. You can't.
So it's not something that you just, okay, now is the time we're working on the car. This is the set time. It's more just kind of like, well, we got a free couple hours. Let's go work on the car, tinker for a little bit.
Well, if it's broke, which
you're gonna fix it.
We got fortunate enough this year that we haven't really broke a lot.
You had 1 week where I think it was a backup car you had to bring out there, but even then, I think you still brought it home top 15, if my memory serves.
8th, I think.
8th, so still a good night. Where's the motivation come from? Like, you have all the hours spent in the shop turning wrenches. I can't blame you. You got to love looking at this pretty face right there. But weekend spent away from the house. The money, let's not gloss over that because that's a big one when it comes into dirt track racing. Money is always, it's always at the forefront of the thought.
Let's talk about that because for me, if it wasn't for John, I mean, I couldn't afford to race. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. You know, a lot of people ask me, why are you driving E-mods? You know, you used to drive an A-mod. A lot of people don't understand that I don't have the money to spend on a race car. E-mod is a economy class. That is why JJ's in it.
Yeah.
It's for what you... Yes, John had an E-mod.
Yeah.
I drove it.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things that John loves racing just as much as I do. He's going to put a driver in the car.
He's going to do whatever it takes to make sure that people are out there enjoying themselves. That's the one thing that I've noticed about John is the results don't really matter. I mean, he wants a top-tier competitor out there to wheel his car, but at the same time, as long as you're doing the best that you can do and having fun doing it, it doesn't seem like it really... The trophy doesn't mean a whole lot to John.
Right, yeah, and that's true.
Okay, let's kind of get off the topic of racing for a second. What's your dream family car? What are you going to go to get groceries with?
True. I don't know. They got the Hellcat out right now. So,
Yeah, the Hellcat is pretty cool.
I'm a Chevy guy, but that Hellcat's pretty badass.
Okay, ideal, perfect world, ideal sponsorship. Who's your ideal sponsor? Me? I got to go with like Mountain Dew or Google. I mean, I'm going to get free Mountain Dew for life and the money of Google. I really can't go wrong with that.
Yeah. That's a tough one.
That is a very tough one. I can't really put you on the spot there with the ideal sponsorship. Favorite pre-race meal? Is there like a go-to burger, fries combination?
Probably Brett's dad's tenderloins.
Brett's dad's tenderloins.
He made them one week, and I ended up coming up to the house. Brett just ended up loading the car up, and I made him at the racetrack. But he made them, and I wasn't there. And
how'd the night go?
So I don't remember how that night went, but I will tell you this: somebody will not be shaving next year before race day because somebody shaved before race day, and
had the superstition.
Oh yeah, we broke a lot of stuff.
Oh, that's not.
Not just my car.
Not pointing fingers, but is it his fault over there? Yeah. Okay.
Like 8 cars.
What about a post-race drink? Are you Mountain Dew, beer, wine, anything like that?
Gatorade and water.
Gatorade and water. All right. You're on a trip, a long haul. You got the car behind you, either to or from the racetrack. You're going to be stopping at a gas station. What is your go-to drink snack combo?
Gatorade beef jerky.
Gatorade and beef jerky. I like it. Nothing wrong with that. All right. They, as in the Hollywood elite type people, are making a movie about your life.
I seen
Randy Smith Jr.
That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome. Who's going to play you?
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart?
Yeah, it
right.
had to be.
All right.
That dude is hilarious.
The comedy aspect, I see it. All right, I like that answer. I like that answer a lot. All right, I just have a couple more questions, and then I'll let you get out of here. I think I've talked your ear off enough. I do have to ask this one thing, though. Can you tell me about your wedding day? Because if my memory serves me right, didn't you get married at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon and roll a car? Or at least wreck a car later on that evening? Yeah,
we were working in Oklahoma, and I come back on a Thursday, and got the car ready on Friday. Got married Saturday at 2, I do believe.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'm right. She's going to kill me.
She's going to tell you if you're wrong.
I already had the car loaded, and I told her, we've been working out of town, so I told her I wanted to race, and she said that was fine. I mean, you can't... I'll tell you what, it's hard to beat my wife. She lets me get away with a lot. But I ended up, Hopkins ended up spinning out in 3.
Yeah.
And I didn't think I hit him that hard, but evidently I hit him hard enough to roll me over.
It was kind of a scary moment there. It gave us something to talk about up there in the booth, but it was